We all know that one TV show, movie, or book that has those two same-gender characters that are always hinting at something. Of course, it's not always actually true. When two characters of the same gender suddenly get a bit close to one another and they stare into each other's eyes, you think they have a chance of being together. Seasons or volumes later, these small moments seem to happen again and again without anything ever coming out of it. This here is called queerbaiting, when movies or TV shows hint that some characters may be queer without ever concretely proving that they are. Queerbaiting is cruel because it's either a cynical tactic to lure the LGBTQ+ audience in with false hope, or an instance where showrunners are too scared of bigots to make something canon. In addition, it normalizes the idea outside and even within the LGBTQ+ community that they're never going to be more than hinted at and shouldn't even hope for anything beyond that. This sentiment is helped by the fact that, when confronted with their queerbaiting, showrunners often foist blame on shippers for seeing something that wasn't there, despite being the ones to string them along in the first place. Not only do TV shows, movies, and novels think that this is okay, but they think that it gives their audience more diversity, which it would if any of the couples actually were confirmed as being queer, not just being teased at in order to pull viewership from the LGBTQ+ audience. People who may have seen a gay kiss screenshot of a movie might want to watch it out, only to find out that it was a fake. A key component of queerbaiting is the community that surrounds the media and how the fans ship two characters. Shipping two people means that you think they should be or are in a romantic relationship. People who are consistent fans of the book or movie and are also shippers sometimes create their own written works or drawings of the characters they wish were a couple. When shipping two of the characters together and creating art or written works, like fan fiction, the audience takes no mind to the new viewers that may see this and think that it may be true. This brings the new members of viewership that could possibly be in the LGBTQ+ community into a false sense of representation. One of the biggest cases of queerbaiting in pop culture in the past couple of years is the ship of John Watson and Sherlock Holmes from the BBC masterpiece show, Sherlock. Some may argue the whole premise of Sherlock is built upon the friendship between Watson and Holmes, so there's bound to be a couple of people who read into something that's not there. The concept of Detective Sherlock Holmes is one of, if not the most adapted story concepts in the world, and weirdly enough, hundreds upon hundreds of books, movies, and TV shows have been able to portray the friendship between Watson and Holmes without causing half of Tumblr to flip their lid. There's also the fact that the show makes jokes about them being gay by having someone mistake them for a couple every other episode, trying to draw in the LGBTQ+ audience in the hope that people in the show see them as a couple, meaning that they are, only to take it away by having Watson say something like, "I'm not gay," each time. This is made worse by the creators of the show, one of whom is gay, constantly affirming to the fans that Sherlock is uninterested in romance, then having Watson and Holmes intensely stare at each other be the larger chunk of the screen time, longer than it would be if they were just two best friends. This isn't unintentional. They are doubly guilty of both queerbaiting and then using members of the LGBTQ+ community as an exit strategy for blame, seemingly without intending to represent them. Another very big and controversial instance of queerbaiting is in Supernatural. The Supernatural fans are upset by the fact that since Castiel's, an angel's first appearance, the sexuality of Dean was clouded. Fans have been led to not watching the show due to the queerbaiting problem. The practice leaves the LGBTQ+ fans jaded, to the point that a lack of representation has become the norm and queerbaiting the assumption. A notable instance of this emerged during the final season of The Legend of Korra. During that season, potentially romantic interaction, like intense eye contact, hand-holding, hugging, blushing, etc., between two close female characters, Korra and Asami, increased dramatically. Still, savvy fans didn't dare hope, despite the significant build-up and the accused showrunners of queerbaiting. And in most cases, they would have been right. After all, what hope did they have of queer representation in a Nickelodeon cartoon? Season 4 ended with Korrasami being canon, but the fans weren't being unreasonable. Korra is the exception and not the norm. The fact that queerbaiting has become so ubiquitous, so expected, that genuine build-up towards a pairing is brushed off as mere teasing. And all these examples are just the big and obvious ones. There's so many more shows that use this tactic just to draw in a specific audience without making their straight audience uncomfortable. Do not even get me started on the shows that include actually queer characters just to show we're not against it, and yet 1 or 2 episodes later the character is gone. It's a whole different topic though, for a whole other episode. All in all, these facts left us shook.